Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with another video. I'm going to make this one brief. As you can see, my hair is nowhere near did, but you know what, it's late. I'm not in the mood to put the scarf back on. I'm not in the mood to even try to force this mop into a ponytail. But as you can see, I got that 4C hair. I feel like that I should be in that Weave Girls skit that Tasha Hall did years ago. We your Weave Girls and all that. But anyway, the reason I'm making this video is not just to make fun of myself. It's actually to give my thoughts on something, as usual. So, this is going to be covering two things. One is continued response to the controversy that is the Super Bowl halftime show from a few years ago. And this idea that, at least in my opinion, it seems to me that we've come back around on this idea that somehow entertainers should be setting modesty or good behavior standards for children. So first off, naturally, as there will be, there are people who didn't like the Super Bowl performance, who found it too risque and all that. And people are entitled to their opinions, especially if those opinions are in disagreement with something. So this video is not really a response to any one particular person or their video, so I won't be linking any critical videos of it. You can find plenty of videos online that are critical of the Super Bowl performance. I'm more of responding to the idea. So here's the thing. First off, and I want to be clear, people have a right to be critical and to not like something, right? You have your opinions, you have your right to it. That being said, I do think that if you're going to not like something, you should know what you're looking at and why you don't like it. And the reason why I bring this up is because I've seen some videos, interesting enough by women, that are criticizing a part of the performance, and in fact, it's the beginning of J-Lo's part, right? It's the beginning of J-Lo's performance, and they're saying that, oh, she's being obscene because there are a few sections of it where it appears that she's touching herself, right? Grabbing her vajayjay. Well, first of all, no, that's not what's happening. Is she gesturing toward that area? Yes, that is true. But never once, at least from what I've seen, and I've watched that performance twice now, does she actually grab her crotch. She gestures toward it, right? At one point, her hand's hovering over it, but she doesn't actually grab it. And there's one part, I think, in the beginning, where her hand's on her inner thigh, right? And the way it's positioned is that it looks like it's near the groin, but not quite. But this isn't just about hand positioning or even decency. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because I don't think the people who are critical of this, at least from what I've seen of those videos, right, understand the, I would say, shorthand or visual significance of when a woman does that in hip-hop dance. Here's the thing about hip-hop dance. I can't dance worth a damn. Same way I can't play basketball. I'm absolutely horrid at actually living up to certain stereotypes about black people. But anyway, in hip-hop dance, right, a common visual shorthand that a woman is trying to give off a macho or masculine energy or somehow take on the part or the role of a man is to square her shoulders, do the whole I'm tough and all that type of stuff. But also part of that is to grab at the crotch. It's a visual sign of, okay, I'm exuding a masculine energy, or I'm taking on a man's role or a man's part now. Now this is important because the beginning of J-Lo's set is that she's dressed in leather. It's a biker chick look. All of her female backup dancers for that part are in this biker chick look, so they're exuding this macho, masculine energy. If you look at the way that her backup dancers dance, it's very, best way I can describe it is macho, right? Their shoulders are together and they're very squared up. Even with their legs, they make square or rectangular shapes, right? That's very in dance. That's very macho and masculine in nature, which fits the beginning of her set. She's dressed in this very classic tough girl look, right, of a biker chick, as are her dancers. And what's the song she is singing? Jenny from the Block. What's that block? That block is in the Bronx, right? You know what one of the nicknames for the Bronx is? The Boogie Down. Because the Bronx, New York is one of the birthplaces of hip hop, in particular b-boy. And if you've ever seen a b-boy crew, or especially a b-girl crew, meaning that they are women who dance in the b-boy style, right? Whenever they want to exude that masculine energy, right, they will grab at their crotch. In fact, there was a TV show on MTV about 10 or so years ago called America's Best Dance Crew. And there was one, I think it was season 3. There was one group on there who were called, and they're a real hip hop dance group called the Beat Freaks. And they're the resident B-girl crew. So they're pretty much, especially when compared to like the other women, they are the like resident tomboys, right? So they get this challenge. It's like a Britney themed video early in this Britney themed episode early in the season. And they get the song Womanizer for their performance. And the challenge is that they have to embody the masculine and the feminine in that performance. So when they're doing the guy part of that performance, the members of the crew, right, are dressed as men. They're in these suits and these hats, and they're quote unquote dancing like men. So they got their shoulders squared and everything, and doing these dance moves with like very straight lines, and they're grabbing at their crotch. Because again, in hip hop dance, the visual shorthand for okay, woman is going to be a guy now, or give off a macho masculine energy, is hand on crotch. But of course, you need content and context, but generally speaking, that's what it means. If she's going to give off this tough girl, macho energy, hand goes to the crotch. Now, I want to be clear. You don't have to like it. You can think it's obscene. You are perfectly within your rights to have an opinion that is critical. But I do believe that if you are going to have an opinion that is critical, you should know what you're looking at. As the Guns N' Roses song says, don't damn me, because you... How's it go? I'm messing it up here. Don't damn me. Don't damn me, for you know what I know and you seen what I seen. Don't damn me. You see, I can always do it until I actually try to do it on video. Then I suddenly blank on lyrics. But anyway, if you're familiar with Guns N' Roses, you probably know the song. But anyhow, so there's that. There's the response to at least some of the criticism on the J-Lo grabbing her crotch part. Number 2, right, is a continuation from number 1, is this idea that entertainers are somehow responsible for setting decency standards for people, in particular for young people. Not to belabor the point, but what I have to say is this. Unless that celebrity's brand is based in kids, right? If they make kid-friendly content or they have a kid-friendly image, unless their brand is being appealing to children, in particular minors, no. Celebrities of any type, be they singers, dancers, comedians, what's the word I'm looking for? Athletes, or anyone else, they are not obligated to set standards or norms, right? They're not obligated to know or respect your sensitivities or the sensitivities of your children. That's for you as a parent or any other sort of guardian role for a child. That's for you to set, and that's for you to enforce. It's not on the cheerleader, it's not on the performer 9 times out of 10. In most cases, it's not on them to set standards or modesty standards, right? Or decency, it's probably a better word, decency standards for your children. That's on you. That's your responsibility as a parent. Don't look to athletes or to any sort of entertainer to be decent just because kids are watching, or to be decent because you feel they should be decent. Okay, the majority of entertainers, especially today, right, do not make content that is for children. Ariana Grande doesn't make content that's for kids. Nicki Minaj doesn't make content that's for kids. J-Lo, what's her name? Shakira, Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake, or anyone else. What's his name? Harry Styles. None of them make content that is for kids. They are not kid-friendly. And to expect them to be kid-friendly just because your children are in the room or because there are children at the Super Bowl, in my opinion, is asinine. First of all, there are many more adults at the Super Bowl and watching the Super Bowl than there ever were kids. And again, it's not their responsibility to set decency standards. Their responsibility is to entertain and to make their brand of entertainment entertaining and to not insult you as a fan or a consumer. That, in my opinion, more or less is the job of an entertainer, however they entertain. But unless their brand is I'm kid-friendly, unless that's their brand, and for most celebrities that is not. In fact, for a lot of celebrities, their brand is, I'm not safe, right? I'm dangerous, I'm cool, I'm edgy, right? Hide your daughters, hide your wives, right? That type of thing. So unless their brand is being kid-friendly, they have no obligation to be kid-friendly just because you think that they should. In my opinion, now granted, I don't have kids, but I do think as a parent or as a guardian of a child, in whatever role that is, it is on you to do research, especially in today's day and age with the internet, right, into what your kids are watching and to make a judgment call as to whether or not you feel that what they're watching is appropriate. As I said in the other video, Shakira and Jennifer Lopez have been around for 20 years. There is plenty of video archived footage that gives you an idea of what their brand of entertainment is about. If you don't like that entertainment, that is perfectly within your rights. If you don't want your children seeing that entertainment, that is perfectly within your rights. But don't expect them to change on your account. Keep in mind, again, this is the Super Bowl. The majority of people there, especially those who pay tickets, are adults. Kids don't have money, right? This would be entirely different if, say, they were doing this type of thing at like a preschool or a kindergarten. They weren't. They were not. It's a Super Bowl. It's an event, in my opinion, principally for adults, and they put on a show that principally adults and perhaps teenagers would enjoy. And again, having seen it twice now, I didn't see anything objectionable in my opinion. Again, it's subjective in nature, but I didn't see anything that I thought was out of line or obscene or anything that, you would not see or expect from Jennifer Lopez and Shakira. Right? You should know at this point, with 20 years in, with literally hundreds of hours of video footage online, what you're getting with them. And I want to be clear, this idea of entertainers somehow being responsible for setting good examples is not new. And it's not an SJW thing, right? It was back in the 90s, it was back in the 80s when you had like Dee Snider and Ronnie James Dio and Ozzy Osbourne and all that, like testifying before Congress about their music and the type of music they make. I think that led to the like labeling on records, something is explicit or obscene or whatnot. You can take this all the way back to Elvis and his swiveling hips and beyond. Whatever decade, whatever artist that you're looking at, right? They're always going to have this problem. And I'm going to, unless there's some reason for a change, I'm going to have the same response. It is not on the artist. Again, the caveat being that they market themselves as kid-friendly. But if they don't do that, it is not on the artist to set a good example for your child, right? It's perhaps on them to set good examples for their kids, but it's not on them to set good examples for your children. That's not their job. That's not their role. As Charles Barkley once said, "I am not a role model," and he is absolutely right. These type of responses, these negative responses that demand decency from people who A, are not in the business of decency, and 2, have made a career off of being sexy, therefore at least somewhat indecent, reminds me of a story I heard years ago, probably about 20-some years ago now, because I was still collecting GamePro magazines, so it means that I would have been a teenager. But anyway, the story, if I remember correctly, goes that a mother walks into a GameStop, right? She has to pick up a video game for her 9-year-old son. His birthday's coming up and she wants to surprise him. And her son wants this video game called Resident Evil, or one of the Resident Evil games. I forget exactly which one it was, but it's a Resident Evil game, right? So she goes over to one of the clerks. She explains the situation to the clerk, and the clerk, tries to talk her out of it. The clerk I think it was male. The clerk was a male. The clerk's like, "Are you sure? Resident Evil features zombies and it features blood and violence. It's M-rated. Do you really want to get this for your 9-year-old son?" And the woman is insistent. Her son wants this. He loves the game. He's so interested. He wants this for his birthday. She will not take no for an answer. So the GameStop clerk, does the transaction. She buys the game. She comes back, a house of fire, about a week later, demanding to know why this company sold her a violent video game. First of all, how could you not tell from the box art that it's going to be violent? Number one. Number two, again, she was warned. She was told. But she didn't want to listen. Then she wants to come back and make a scene when she realizes that she's given her son something that perhaps he's a little too young to have, at least in her estimation. Okay? That is not the fault of GameStop. It's not the fault of that clerk. It's not the fault of Capcom. They're not responsible for the content that other people buy, especially when it's for another person, like their kid. You know who's responsible in that instance? Mom. You know who should have listened when she was told several times that this game may not be appropriate for her son? Mom. You know who didn't listen? Mom. You know who this era is on? Mom. So please, people, stop trying to blame media or hold media to a standard that A, 9 times out of 10 even you don't live up to, and B, a standard that should not be enforced on them anyway, because they're not the parents of your children. You are. But anyway, that's the video. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.